This is what it's all about. Have a look. Boom. And now, what you have is the hardest part done. If you try and mess with it any other way, it's trouble. How's that for a haul for a few hours work last night, huh? Beautiful. And we're just gonna start going over them one at a time and really making sure they're nice and clean. All right, it's the next day after that epic Burbot beatdown with Chris and guest appearance from Laura. And now we're going to clean those Burbot. I'm going to show you how to do that. All you need is a fillet knife and a pair of pliers, preferably needle nose pliers, because the skin on these things is really tough. I'll explain it all in a second. I also have a pair of hemostats if I need a second hand. Word to the wise, this is a lot easier to do if you have a second person to help you hold the fish while you're pulling the skin off, but I'll explain in a second. Let's get those things cleaned up. Oh, and the last thing I would recommend is some kind of gnarly old towel or cloth or something, because these things are so damn slippery. They slide all over the place, and especially on a stainless steel table like I have here. This is my dressing table. I clean a lot of fish on here, etc. I don't have this problem, but these ones and trout, just like a trout, a lot like a trout, or even slimier, they'll really slide around on that, even on wood. So little towel will go a long way too. Burbot number one, and a nice one, a big fatty. So the whole thing about a Burbot is the anatomy is very simple, but the skin is tough. And the basement boy looks very interested here. I'm probably going to have a little helper. So I've tried all kinds of different ways. I've tried gutting the fish first and dealing with it. That is not the way to go. I've tried taking fillets off with the skin on and then skinning them. That is not the way to go. The best way that I have found so far to skin a Burbot is to start taking the skin off all the way around the head, okay? And just be careful around the bottom. There's some meat there, right there, okay? And, you know what? I don't need this towel quite yet. I want him sliding around right now. And then just sort of, what I'm doing is I'm trying not to cut into the meat, okay? Have a look. And I could even go blade up on this, like that, all the way around, okay? At the bottom of the head, just behind these fins here. Being very careful, especially in this area where the guts are, because the whole idea is to not open those guts at all, okay? And then to take your time and sort of start filleting the skin back and rolling it up. And what we're going to try to achieve here, and I'm not making any promises, this is much easier when you have somebody to hold the other end of the fish. We're going to try and pull all that skin off in one go off the Burbot, okay? So let's get our handy towel. And what I'm going to do is just up here, this nice prime freaking meat, is just get a little tab started. Okay, you see this here? And I want you to notice when I'm trying to pull it, just how firm that is. I'm not going to be able to get a ton off by pulling, but I might be able to get a little tab, and then I'll probably get my knife under that and get that going. But I think actually I have enough of a tab to show you the real trick. This is what it's all about, is a pair of needle nose pliers. So check this out. See that little tab I made? I'm going to roll it onto my pliers, and this is the whole move. Don't try and just pull it right away. Get some on there for some purchase. Roll it if you can. Now they're pretty slippery. And pull, okay? Check it out. It's going pretty good, actually. We're going to keep rolling that on there. I hope that's in the frame for you. And I'm going to pull it back. You might get it in one go, you might not. Sometimes what helps too, I'm just going to show you this, is so it doesn't, like a sock that you pull off a little bit at a time. Go down to the bottom and pull a little. Okay, see like that? Pulling. Now I'm going to pull it over to the other side where it's not catching. Again, rolling those pliers over. And if you get a little bit of meat loss, that's okay. If that starts getting bad, you see this little area here where it's starting to pull off a little bit of that prime backstrap? Let me show you a little trick, just with my other hand real quick. Cut that off at the pass. Don't lose that meat. If you just put one little incision right there, you see how I've gone right through to the skin now? There. It should, if things go according to plan, not rip all that meat off. Yeah, that went perfect. And you're just putting as much gumption as you can on it. And am I even in the frame? Come on. This is a big fish. Sorry, guys. It's coming out of the frame, but watch. It's going to come right off. Have a look. Boom. And now what you have is the hardest part done. This skin right here is so damn tough. If you try and mess with it any other way, it's trouble. So bam, that goes in the bucket. And now we're going to start to get all the meat off this thing, and there's nothing to this. The anatomy of this fish is very simple. There's almost nothing you can get off the side or the bottom. There's very, very little meat. We'll try and get something maybe and mess around a little bit. But the power move is just to follow the spine. There's a natural, I'm going to pull this up closer to the camera. Like most fish, there's a natural line right down the center of the spine, okay? And this is where you're going to guide your knife. You can actually press your finger in there and get it started on some of it. You see there how it's starting to start? Anyway, I'm going to get my knife. I'm going to delineate that, and then we're going to take off each back strap side to side, okay? Hey, you, get your gross feet out of my cleaning area, you little shit. Oh, and I lost my towel, which is huge. Keep it from slipping. There we go. That's a big boy, man. Okay, we're going to score that a little bit right there down to the, listen. You hear that spine? Okay, that's what we want. Okay, and we're just going to follow that down the spine. The tip of our knife just sort of touching the backbone, okay? I might be losing a little bit there, but we're doing our best. And don't get hung up, guys, when cleaning fish. There's so many people that get hung up and are afraid to clean a fish, and they want to do it perfect every time. And the basement boy's right in the way. Bye, buddy. Etc. Sure, of course, you should be aiming for perfection, but don't expect it, okay? Don't get freaked out if you miss a little bit or you leave a little bit on the bones. That's all turtle food. That'll feed the birds and the other fish in the lake, etc. And you're doing your whole system a service if you mess it up, okay? So think of it that way if you really are worried about it. But here, I want to show you what's going on. So can you see that backbone, the spine that's starting to appear right there? Let me show you. I'll bring that up to the camera again. See how the spine is starting to appear there, right there? That's what we're trying to do. We're going to peel this backstrap right off. And there's just a few points where it hangs on. So I'm just very gently with my knife, following along. I'm scoring that down. And we're going to follow that backbone just like you would with a lot of other fish species. Again, super, super easy, simple anatomy on this fish to where all the best cuts are on this thing that you'll get off. Okay, we're following that down, taking our time. It's not a race, man. I see these guys, they all want to clean a fish in 1 minute and brag about it and everything. I think it's so freaking stupid. What you want to do is a nice clean job, man. Okay, and then there will be a point somewhere just down here. I hope that's in the frame for you. And this is precious. I love eating burbot. I don't want to waste any at all. But there will be a point right down here where you can get your knife through and follow that down here from the tail, just like you would with so many other fish species. Check that out. Okay, we're doing our best. And that gives us a start now from this end. Once I free up this, let me get that in the frame for you. I hope you guys can see what's going on. Maybe I'll even zoom it in for you a little bit. Can I do that? There you go, guys. I'm going to zoom that in for you. See that beautiful backbone all coming in super clean. Now, I don't hope my arm's not in the frame here. I'm just going to get in here, following again that spine up. You can hear that? Hear that on my knife? The tip. Okay. We're going all the way up. Trying not to lose anything. Trying to keep the bones out of it. And once I get that free, sometimes you can rip that whole thing right off, or sometimes it's a better idea. And let me zoom you back. I'll start you zoomed in, okay? Sometimes it's better to just follow it with your knife. But on one that's been sitting, I find that's a little stiffened up, that's been sitting in the fridge or whatever, a lot of times you can pull that off. Sometimes you can rip that thing off, sometimes you can't. I'm going to see these ribs, the back ribs here. We're going to follow those and get as much as we can and try not to lose much. And you might even get a little bit of the side fillet at the top here, but you won't get it down here. Down here is like, there's not a ton there. Okay, we'll get a little bit. I might have missed a bite or two. Maybe I can get those off, and it's certainly worth it. I love eating burbot. Okay, there you go. And now I'm going to just to show you clean what the back strap is. I'll get this bit off in a minute. There you've got, let me bring her back. Sorry, I was zoomed in that whole time. There you've got a beautiful burbot back strap. This is the prime cut on this fish. Am I right? Beautiful. All you got to do is rinse that in some cold water. Cook it up however you like. There's a million recipes. Maybe I'll go over that with you in a second. But they call this stuff poor man's lobster for a reason. The texture is somewhere half between maybe a fish and some kind of crustacean like a lobster or a crab or something. So there's one. We'll just see what we can get off some of this bottom stuff. This isn't always the best meat, and this is where a lot of toxins accumulate on fish too, is in the belly meat. But I haven't eaten any burbot in a while. So I might try and get that stuff in a minute. What I want to do right now, before I start pissing around, since we're doing a little how-to video, Now we're going to find I want to do this efficiently. I'm going to find the other side of this spinal cord. Okay, like that. Score that. Let's find the tip, actually. Hold on. I'm trying to turn it to show you and doing this super slow and messing it up, but that's okay. I want to give you an idea. A lot of people are curious about this fish. A lot of people have never cleaned one of these. A lot of people have never even caught one of these. And they're super abundant. It's a native species. They fight like freaking tanks, dude. They're little tow trucks with fins, and they eat pretty good, man. They're delicious. So I just want to put this information out there as like best practice. Like, what's the best way to clean a burbot? I believe it to be this. And of course, I'm filming, taking my time and messing it up. But you can see there's a bone that sticks up right here on the spinal cord, okay? That sort of keeps all that muscle in place. You just get down the side of that, and it would be much more efficient if I had the camera on the other side right now, but I'm trying to make a consistent shot for you guys. I hope you appreciate it because you're slowing me down. But that's the whole point of this channel, man. Give you some good information, show you some things in real time, in real life, super mega realness. I'm trying to show you what this really is to live self-sufficiently and sustainably in harmony with nature. And being able to clean a burbot is a little bit of a little tiny part of that. So you won't be able to see because the camera's on the wrong side. I've got on top of that little bone. And listen, I'm scoring, and I messed it up. I'm scoring the tip of my knife down against that backbone, taking my time. This is the point where I could get it through. Probably get that mostly through there. Yeah, there you go. Like I said, just like a lot of other fish. And now we'll take our time and get the rest of that nice big fillet off there. And I cannot wait to eat this burbot, man. You're going to get more meat off the fish if you just take your time like this. Follow that. Listen, follow that rib cage that goes along the top. Follow that spinal cord. And you're just going to be more efficient with it and get more meat off it. And that's, of course, the whole point of fishing these things. As much as it is fun, like super fun to fish for these, they're really, really good to eat. And if you're taking them and killing them, you should be eating them. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. Oh, I got a bone there. There we go. And then we're just going to follow that. I'll get that belly meat separate if I even bother with it. But there you go. There's backstrap number 2 on this giant, delicious burbot. That's not even a huge one. That's just a nice eater. But look at that. That's a lot of meat, man. There's 2. And now let's mess around. The liver on these fish is, of course, edible. Like all, there's a lot of oils, but a lot of toxins do accumulate in there. I might save it. I might not. I'll think about it. But here, let's just have a quick look at this belly meat. Okay. Again, I want to put out the caveat first that a lot of toxins tend to accumulate on that part of all fish, right? Mercury's, especially mercury. So you might want to be a little bit worried about eating it. There's a good chunk here. If you don't want to mess with trying to get that meat off, is to actually open it. I'm not going to do it. Open it, gut it, pull the head, the gills out of the head, and boil that down, man. You boil that down, you'll make an amazing super stock out of that. But I'm not doing that with this guy. I'm going to just grab this, what I can get off the belly meat. Okay, just some extra chunks for whatever I'm doing. I don't know if this is going to be a frickin' stir fry or like a blackened Cajun style burbot, you know, just these back straps fried up in the casty with some Cajun. Okay, there you go. See, what we're doing is avoiding that whole inner area where that paunch is. Okay, and I want to show you this side where those rib bones end. You can actually, I'm going to take my finger out from under it because I want to give you a good example here. You can just sort of get around those little ribs like that. And look at all these bites, man, we're saving of decent meat. Again, if you're not too worried about it, if you're not consuming a lot of them and you're not too worried about it, that would be an excellent addition to a super stew. I'm going to show you a good example. See that? That's all edible, absolutely. You know, I haven't pierced the guts whatsoever. And you could use that for your dog or your cat or whatever. Maybe I'll take it for the basement boy, but I don't think I'm going to eat that. I'm a little worried about, with a fish that age, the toxins. But I want to show you how easy that comes off now. So now that we've done it all nice and clean, look at all the guts are still inside this fish, right? We haven't pierced anything. There's not even a speck of blood. And I've got this huge piece of belly meat if I decide I want it. I'll just do that to show you, actually. What the hell? I don't consume a ton of belly meat because I eat so much wild fish. I'm kind of, I'm hyper conscious of it. But say if you're, like a weekend warrior fisherman, or you're a casual fisherman, or you just do it a couple of times a year, do not be afraid whatsoever to eat that meat. Yeah, so if you're like, a casual fisherman and you keep the odd one here and there and you're just eating a piece of belly meat like that, a few times a year, that's not going to harm you whatsoever. But it's just that a guy like me consumes so much fish in my diet every single day. I just have to be conscious of stuff like that. One down. Let's grab another one. Same thing, rinse and repeat.
And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I cleaned a couple of more burbot. I discussed a few of the finer points, got into a little more detail, but honestly, you'll figure that stuff out for yourself once you actually get your hands dirty and do it. And that's the thing for cleaning any kind of fish or wild game. People get worried about messing it up or doing it wrong. Just forget about all that. Get your hands in there and figure it out.
Look at that. How's that for a haul for a few hours work last night, huh? Beautiful.
And here we are back in the kitchen, just about to rinse those down with nice cold water, vacuum seal some, and maybe make a little plan for this loose stuff. I might make a nice little chowder or something. But anyway, let's rinse those out.
Just let that tap run for a minute. And woo, that water is getting nice and cold out of the well. And we're just going to start going over them one at a time and really making sure they're nice and clean. Okay, you saw there was a lot of slimy, gross stuff on there. And these fish are really slimy. They hold on to a lot of little bits of like detritus and dirt and all kind of things. So you want to really thoroughly rinse those out. I might even give them a second rinse. We'll see how well we do. But one at a time, get rinsed out. Okay, there's two big boys. There we go. Looking nice, man. Looking clean. Look at that nice, clean white meat, man. Come on, that's beautiful. Ooh, that's a nice chunky one. These are the ones I like. That's like a sort of the minimum. I'd like to always catch them this size or bigger. Of course, you take what you can get, but... And there are a smaller size that, I will throw back and stuff. I just didn't need to with these guys. But there's so many of them biting. But these are nice, chunky fillets, man. I would very much enjoy cutting some of them up. Maybe I'll do 2 recipes for you or something. We'll do a little catch and cook or something. I don't know. We'll see if I have time. That's looking lovely. One more fillet. And then I'm going to get a strainer for all the loose stuff, those little bits of belly meat and the little offcuts and stuff from little bits that I messed up. Super multi-purpose tool in the kitchen. I'm just going to lay that across the sink and put all the rest of those little bits in there. And now I have to go fishing around in the sink for them. I'm just going to kind of go from here. Okay. It's right there. See that? Got the last little soup chunk or chunks. And then all those little nasty bits can stay in there. Somebody needs to keep his little nose out of there, bud. That's too good for you. I'll give you some. I'll give you some. But don't put your gross feet in there, okay? Thank you. See ya. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. Down. And now it's time to pack some of those away. I'm going to be leaving out all those offcuts, etc. But I do want to vacuum seal up some of those nice fillets. I don't know if I'll get out again burbot fishing. It's the first time I got out burbot fishing in a good long time. I just haven't had time for personal fishing. I've been so busy guiding. But what I can do is freeze some up to have them whenever I want.
Ah, the beauty of the deep freeze. Guys like me live and die out of our freezers. If you're new here, you don't know that I hunt, fish, forage, and grow the vast majority of my diet. And even though there's some form of fresh food available to me all year long, it's not everything, and that freezer goes a long, long way. Anyway, I hope you learned something new about cleaning a burbot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you subscribe to see next week's video where I'm gonna cook these bad boys and show you what I think is the best way to go about it. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Cheers.